Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Good day and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Phillip Sydney. Today we are going to be discussing the production of biogas. We're talking about biogas digesters establishment and management. I won't tell you more. I know you're curious to know what it's all about, but I have two gentlemen in studio who are well equipped to dissect this information to you and to know exactly what we're dealing with today. To my right is Mr. Allan Oculien, who is a Livestock Officer attached to the Vet and Livestock Division in the Ministry of Agriculture, and Quint Odlum, an Agricultural Engineering Officer attached to the Engineering Division, of course, in the Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. Oculien, tell the public out there what is biogas and what are biogas digesters?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sydney. First of all, I must say a biogas digester is a device that was constructed, right? Any device you construct to process organic matter into biogas. Now, when we hear biogas, what we're really referring to is really the methane part of the gas that is produced. Mm-hmm. But any device that you can build or you can construct, any design, once it enables the process of organic matter, when you can process organic matter into biogas, that is a biogas digester. There's no rigid design to say it must be this. In the past, we used to use the fixed dome system or the floating dome system. These were large tanks built with a dome-shaped covering, which was very expensive. But now, with new technology on board, we're trying to bring to the farmers a new low-cost biogas digester that is very affordable. I think Mr. Odlum can speak a little more about the low-cost biogas digester.
Quint, from the engineering point of view, how is that marriage between vet and engineering as far as the biogas digesters are concerned?
Okay, well, as Mr. Oculien said, biogas is the formation of gas using basic manure or food waste, animal waste. We as the engineering division, we deal with as the word said, engineering aspects of agriculture. And the construction of a biogas, the construction of a pig pen, the construction of fall cubes, this is all part of engineering. So this is where my department comes in to assist the veterinary department with the construction of the digesters.
Okay. We have had that formula here almost 30, 35, 40 years ago. Okay. I know there's one in the north, Mr. Augustine, who is a pig farmer. I don't think he has purchased cooking gas for almost 35, 40 years. So what's happening now? Take us from that point to where we are now, Mr. Oculien.
Well, Mr. Augustine's time was long before my time, but I mean, in working with him, we found out that he has been using it from the inception, from the time they constructed it for him. I think it was built, like you said, by some German engineers. And that's where now we have our own engineer, Mr. Odlum, who can do almost the same thing that the Germans came to do for us, for Mr. Augustine. Okay. Now, these biogas digesters, after a while, for example, maintenance, we had one at Sahafa, right? That was a floating dome, right? The Goba kind type from India. These now, after a while, it needed a lot of maintenance, and now I don't think it is functional, and it was very expensive, costing the region almost 60 to $70,000 to construct one. So, like I said before, the low-cost ones, like those like Mr. Odlum and his unit is engineering for us to use, these are low-cost and very easy to construct and maintain. And
okay. What is the objective of producing a biogas digester, and what's the ultimate goal?
Okay, we focus mainly on the production of gas, all right? But there are many other benefits to the biodigester.
Okay.
Gas is the number one problem, if we could put it like that, because it's associated with the odor which most pig pen produce, right? So by having a proper digester, you could, number one, eliminate the bad smell associated with pig pens, right? And apart from eliminating the bad smell, you could provide cooking gas. Now, we all know the importance of cooking gas, but it's not only cooking gas for food. You could use it for lighting, you could use it for generators, you could use it for different purposes, right? So the formation of gas is one of the main aspects of the biodigester. But we also have other components attached to it. For example, the production of manure. All right? Because of the kind of digester we have designed, we use a liquid to fill the digester, meaning all the solid is strained and separated. Right? So you could use that liquid to produce gas. And then you could use the solid to produce manure, or what we refer to as composting.
Organic
and
fertilizer.
also the third aspect of it is the liquid which comes out of the digester itself. This is still very rich in nutrients, which we are hoping to turn into a liquid fertilizer, which we could further use for improving the growth of plants.
Yeah, I want to come to that, but before that, I need to find out, both of you were trained where?
I went to Costa Rica to understudy or to learn how to construct.
Give us an idea of the Costa Rica experience.
The Costa Rica experience, I went along with 8 other farmers and 1 other agricultural vet officer, and we were given all the information required as to how to construct a digester, how to clean the pens, how much material would be required to produce what quantity of gas you're looking for. It was an extensive course. We did about 10 days, and we were actually involved in the construction of what we would refer to as low-cost biodigesters. Because as Mr. Oculien said earlier, biodigesters come in many different forms, shapes, sizes. Our main objective was to find one that's suitable for our farmers under our conditions. So that's where we came up with what we refer to as a low-cost, a simple digester which we can make it out of almost any container, any local material. And there is a little more sophisticated one which we make out of plastic. Okay. And that we could get into when it comes to the actual design of them.
Okay, do you think that farmers are going to buy into this new technology or the new system that you are now producing? Do you think, because don't talk 30, 40 years ago, that was here in St. Lucia, okay? How many farmers bought into it? Not many. I'm not sure, maybe it's because of the cost, the high cost. Do you think now is the time they are going to buy into it because it's low cost, or there are benefits to be derived from it?
Okay, I think more than the farmer buying into it, we need to make it compulsory that if you're going to rear pigs or animals on what we would consider an enclosed area, a biodigester should be compulsory. All right?
Why you say so?
Okay, one of the main reasons why the whole project came about is because of the contamination of our river waters through the effluence which comes out of the digesters, or which comes out of the pig pen, and it goes straight into our river waters. Because of that, we have realized that we've had an increase in bacteria like E. coli and coliform, which we know are harmful to human and other life forms. So the pig pens are actually contaminating our water sources. Okay, so there is also an environmental issue attached to the whole project, the whole production of pigs, how we go about producing pigs. I mean, if you have 1 or 2 pigs as a hobby, as a pet, it's different than if you're going into a pig business where you're going to be generating large quantities of mess. How do you get rid of what we call pig shit? How do you dispose of it properly that it doesn't harm the environment? Yet still, it might sound strange, but you can make money out of shit.
How are you going to get the farmers to buy into that? That's
You need to make it compulsory. It's not a situation where you could allow the farmer to do it if he wants. It needs to be a situation where if you're going to go into pig production, you need to have one of these, because we cannot allow one person to make money and destroy our entire water source. So to me, it's not a voluntary situation. If you're building a house, you need to build a septic tank. That's part of your design. If you're building a pig pen, you need to have a proper waste disposal system. That should be part of it.
But that is challenging, but we're due for a break. We're going to be right back. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. I'll be back shortly.
Agriculture, one of the pillars of St. Lucia's economic development, creating opportunities for earning a living for the farmer and his family. From the field to the kitchen, the St. Lucians are finding creative ways of using fruits, crops, and vegetables grown locally, from local seasonings to special brews, from aquaculture to the cultivation of local herbs for export. A strong agriculture industry strengthens the economy. The country needs your support, so buy local.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. Mr. Oculien, based on what Quint is saying, I realize this is going to be a challenge, right? Because don't tell me, how are you going to monitor a farmer who wakes up this morning and decides to go into a pig production, and you don't know about it? How challenging is this for your division?
Well, it's a bit challenging, but we're coping. One of the problems we've been having, to add up to what Mr. Odlum was saying, in terms of how many farmers buy into the technology, and he was saying that we should make it compulsory. One of the things we have found out, as a livestock officer, is that farmers now, for example, some of them are aware, but a number of them are not cognizant that they are damaging the environment. Like I said, they are, for example, they are spoiling some things, a few things that was people used to enjoy, like the river water, a whole community used to enjoy. Now, in the quest for them to earn their livelihood, for example, they do not pay attention to the damage that is being done. So it is up to the livestock officer now to bring in, to train them, teach them, and tell them about the dangers of dropping all the effluent into the river. So we used to have these challenges, and we collaborated with other agencies like AICA, and in came AICA with that new technology. So now what we're doing is that we're training these farmers, we're speaking to them, and we're trying to see that if, for example, these farmers can accept that new technology, then we on the right way. We have established quite a number, about 15.
Yeah, maybe a little under that, but close to
15.
But
we're still having challenges. Now, for example.
But what are the challenges you face?
Challenges like, for example, these biogas digesters. And digesters, when you rearing animals like swine, pigs, okay, the waste from pigs, right? If it is produced at a larger volume than that of a household. For example, one piglet can produce 2 kg, at least about 2 kg of waste, right? What you say, poop, or what you say, whatever word, excrete. They'll produce about that. So if you have, for example, a household, the volume of a household of free compared to a liter of free, the amount of excreta that is produced is almost double that amount. So, for example, the conventional septic tanks and biogas digester. It has to be managed properly for it to be very effective. Now, what you do not want in your biogas digester is the solid. So in order to make these things work, you need to have what you call an integrated waste management system. Okay. And composting, one of the key, right, process in that is composting. Composting is where you take out the solids and then you put it in a composting shed and you allow it to break down over a period of time so that is what you will use for your organic fertilizer, organic material, organic manure, organic fertilizer. Now, we also have, if you have a biogas digester or septic tank, because your waste management system is almost like what you said, that if you're going to build a house, you need to have at least a design and a not a digester, but a septic tank and a sockaway. This is what we want to bring into livestock production, whether it is poultry, whether it is cattle, or whether you're doing small ruminants, right? But the challenge we are having is that, for example, poultry, most times, because of the cost of establishing a poultry farm, most farmers have to go to the bank. This establishment will give you they will have to follow certain protocols. They will have to show them a few things before they can release their money. And one of it is that, for example, sites and the selection and how you're going to dispose of your waste. Now, for swine, for pigs, or like you said, overnight, the following day, you see a farmer with a pen by the river, and then it's very difficult for you to control it. But with poultry, before they get their money to construct that 120,000, 80,000 structure, they have to go through health. Health, we work also with health, and health sometimes give guidelines what you have to give your, for example, sewage and all these little process, little nitty-gritties that you have to put in place to have a structure. But for swine, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yes, Quint.
Yeah, the reason why swines appear to be a little more challenging, first to begin with, biogas could be made with almost any animal waste, including human waste, right? We could also make biogas with food remainders. Okay, so it's not only pig waste, or as we refer to as pig shit, that will make biogas. One of the main reasons why it appears that we target in the pig farmers is pigs require a lot of water for their cooling system. So the average farmer or pig pen is close to a water source. You know, so they contaminate the water source very easily. All right? But we want to make it clear that it's not only pig farmers. You could do biogas out of almost any waste material. Right? The reason why we really target in the pig farmers is mainly because of the location, number one. Number two, the practices in cleaning a pig pen. You know, the other pens, you don't clean them the way you clean the pig pen. Right? What I really want to stress on is there is an environmental issue. Okay? If you have a pig pen where people live, you're going to have problems with your neighbors, with your, right? So there is an environmental issue. The smell is a problem, flies, and also the contamination of the water. There's also there are economical benefits to derive. You could make cooking gas, and you could also produce manure. And we could go a further stage or further step to the production of compost. Compost is very expensive. You would buy maybe a 20-pound bag of compost for about $80-something. You know, compost is basically shit or waste, put it like that, right? So the opportunity or the possibility of making money off of the animals, not just killing them and eating them or making or selling them, right? The production of gas, the production of manure, and the possible production of a liquid fertilizer. These are the things that we're looking into.
Is there a collaboration between the vet division, engineering, and the Taiwanese are assisting the farmers via extension services to establish composting units around the island. Are you all integrated in that process to ensure the solids you're talking about that comes out of the pen can be tossed into that composting unit, which would benefit the farmer on the long run?
Well, we have tried before. We had this Japanese technician from Japan, JICA. He came and he was very integral in showing farmers how to use the waste from pigs to make compost, organic manure. But after he went back to Japan, the program fell away a little. We're not blaming anybody. But the Taiwanese, yes, we have spoken, we know of it. I mean, Dr. Jaria he spoke to me about it, but we have not really liaised with the Taiwanese so that we can make it part of our program. But we're hoping that we can meet with them and make that part, because once you rearing animals and you have proper waste disposal systems, composting will have to be an integral part of that, right? And to add on to what Mr.
Hold that point.
Yeah.
Again, we're moving fast and furious. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Be right back. Stay tuned.
There are many opportunities in agriculture, and broiler production is one such enterprise. For further information, contact the Veterinary and Livestock Division at 468-5621.
Welcome back to the program. Quint, I am interested in this one because you see that the linkage between the composting unit that is being established island-wide. I can see that synergy, right, between
Definitely.
what you're doing now. And so I think fast as ever, you'll need to collaborate to ensure that happens.
Yes. The production of compost could be made on site. It doesn't really require a very elaborate or complex system to produce compost. It's a very simple procedure. The average farmer who rears pigs also has a garden. So we were encouraging him to reincorporate that compost into his garden. But for the farmers who do not have pigs, who do not have a garden, right? For the pig farmer who does not have a garden, what is he going to do with that compost?
Sell it?
Or the pig mess? I think now that he knows the value of it, I think that he could sell it to the people
vegetable production,
responsible for making compost. And that's where the extension arm of the Ministry of Agriculture comes in, right? If we could backtrack a little, out of the digesters we have constructed, one of the farmers actually told me her biggest income was the composting, right? Because of the problems she was having with her actual pigs, getting them to be the right size and stuff like that to sell them at the right price, okay? She buys feed for her pigs, all right? And most times the waste was causing a problem. But now she's actually making compost and selling at $5 a bag.
Wow, very good, very good.
So she's one of the farmers who actually benefit financially, not just making cooking gas, because the gas you will not really see the money because you're just burning the gas. Okay, you're using it, it's saving you. But when you sell the pig shit or the compost, you actually get back pretty good cash.
Nitty-gritty, cost of establishing that new digester.
Okay, this has been asked quite a bit, and it's difficult to establish a fixed cost for many reasons. One, we try to do it on a low-cost system where we have the farmer do 3/4 of the work himself, provide 3/4 of the materials himself.
What is required?
Okay, what is required? You would need a 5 feet deep pit by 5 feet wide. The length would vary according to the amount of pigs you have.
So what's the ideal for say a 5-sow unit?
Maybe about 25 feet long.
Okay.
Same 5 feet deep, 5 feet wide, about 25 feet long. And when all is functional and well, you should have at least a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of gas per day.
So give us, but you cannot come up with
to come up with a figure, no, I cannot. Number one, I'll give a few reasons why. Number one, we at the experimental stage, and the material we're using at the moment, it was donated by ICA. Okay, we didn't purchase the material, right? So I don't know the cost of the material, to put it like that. Secondly, you could make, you could produce compost out of containers, different size containers, different kind of containers. That's not the only method, right? Thirdly, we use a lot of local material. You know, for example, tube, old bicycle tube, buckets. You know, you need maybe about 6 to 8 of these 5-gallon buckets. You know, so we don't encourage farmers to spend money and go and buy these things. You collect them around, you get them where you can, how you can, and we make do with what we have. But at the moment, we do not have a fixed cost for the construction of a digester.
Do you think, I know in other countries, they use, of course, the household
waste.
excrete.
Yeah.
Okay, the septic tank. In other words, a household of 3 can produce enough gas, you know, for that particular home. Do you foresee that coming into bearing in St. Lucia over the next 10, 20 years?
Hopefully before that.
Wow.
Because we're faced with a situation in Soufrière.
That's right.
Right, where we have serious water pollution problems, right?
I mean, it is serious.
It is serious. And we realize that it's not only pig pens producing mess, which is contaminating the water. A lot of the contamination is also coming from households.
Okay.
We also have a very serious problem in Orléans Dennery, right? And I definitely think that this is the way forward, right? It can be, biogas can be made out of human waste and out of also kitchen waste, right? So there could be a combined system where we could gather both the kitchen waste and the human waste, and we could produce cooking gas.
What's the way forward now for your vet division as far as working with the farmers now? What's the program now?
Well, the program we're prioritizing what we're doing. For example, in terms of those farmers, with the biogas digesters, we're looking at those farmers who pose an immediate problem to the environment, and those farmers who are right now within the city circuit, where we say city circuit, but they were there before, but a community has just encroached them, right? Households, dwellings have just come around the farm, and they are under serious problems. We give these people priority, but there's just a small amount of digesters that we can put up per year, because the material is donated. It's a bit difficult to source the material. I won't say difficult, but it's a bit challenging for us now, because ICA is the one assisting us with the material. So what we're doing, the way forward, is that we're deciding those farmers who are really on the riverbed, right? In the larger water catchment area, we're going to, for example, who's going into pig production, those people who have the potential of maybe damaging or contaminating our groundwater.
So you'll work with them to ensure that?
We work with them. Okay. Right. But we almost...
I'll stop you here because, boy, we're moving fast. We're about ending, Quint. I mean, I know there's a lot to be said, okay? I think you all will, whatever you have to say now, you'll say to the farmer all day. All right? So I want to thank you all for coming, honestly. Quint Odlum from the Engineering Division, the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Allan Oculien of the Vet Division, thank you for coming. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. I hope you enjoyed this program. And of course, for more information, contact the Ministry of Agriculture via telephone, via the offices of the Ministry of Agriculture. Until then, I am Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
I was just beginning.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.